Okay, good morning, friends. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Haba. We're continuing in Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Sadi Gimel. We are up to Seif Beis. Sadi Gimel Seif Beis. Lo yamei l'spala ela be'ema v'achna. One should not get up to daven only out of awe and humility. Lo mitach schayk, not out of laughter, v'kalas roish, or lightheaded, udvarim b'telem. You should walk into the davening in the proper frame of mind. Let's say you're on the way to shul, and you could either be walking in yourself, or you could catch up with your friend, so you could catch up on the latest. That's not the time to catch up. We already had a very important inyan, the way to walk into a shul. Beveis Elokim nahalech b'ragesh. The entrance into the shul is an important juncture. So one should go in ema and hachna, not out of levity, not out of lightheadedness, or dvar b'tem, v'lo mitach kas, ela mitach simcha, kagoin divrei tanchumin shel Torah, like the consolation of Torah. Now it's interesting. Here the Mechaber seems to be specifically talking about right before Shemona Esrei, samuch legulas Mitzrayim, either Gal Yisrael, or the subject of Gulas Mitzrayim, or samach letihila David shekasav by ritzoin yireyav yaaseh. Mincha time we have tanchumin shel Torah, that Hashem fulfills the will of those who fear Him, or shomer Hashem as kol oyhavav. God guards all those who love Him. Now this is very interesting, because yesterday we asked, what does the Mechaber mean that you should wait before you daven? Aren't you supposed to start right away? And we had no alternative but to say it's talking about before you even start davening. Well, in Seif Beis it seems not like that, because Seif Beis is talking about only lo yamoid lehispalel ela be'ema v'achna. It's not talking about your matoivu or the beginning of davening. It's talking about Shemona Esrei. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a stira between Seif Aleph and Seif Beis. Seif Aleph l'chayra cannot mean that Yisha sha'achas kadem shiyakum l'spalo before Shemona Esrei, because you have to say Shemona Esrei right away, unless we're talking about mincha time. Seif Beis is talking about, so Seif Aleph we said is talking about before you start davening. Seif Beis l'chayra is talking about Shemona Esrei. Says Mishna Berura, be'ema v'achna, shenemar ivdu es Hashem b'yira, serve Hashem in fear. Hainu ha-tefila she'ilanu b'mkaim avoda asu oisa b'yira. Tefila, which is in the place of avoda, do it out of fear. Loi mitoich rotzelomer de mitzvah min ha-muvchar she'im oimdin ela mitoich ema v'achna. Meaning the Mishna Berura is bothered by a question. It says, don't daven only out of ema and yira, and not schayk v'kalas roish. Well, if I'm davening out of ema and hachna, obviously it's not out of schayk v'kalas roish. So it means like this: lichatchila, ideally mitzvah min hamuvchar, it has to be out of ema v'hachna. But if you're not able to do it out of ema and hachna, at the very least, make sure you're not being a clown before davening. Elakivan the inkol achayach lizar lahachni lahachnes liba hachna ve'ema al kapanim la yispal mitach schayk el mitach simcha shel mitzvah. Seif Gimel ein oimdim l'spal mitach din. Don't get up to daven out of adjudicating a court case, v'lo mitach halacha, or out of learning halacha in depth, so that your heart is not preoccupied with it. Ela mitoich halacha pesuka, only out of clearly delineated and cut rulings. Hagav hainu kanami kamay mitoich simcha, because out of halacha, meaning you could learn Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, but you can't learn Biur Halacha before davening. Could you learn Gemara before davening? Depends. If you're just not really learning it, you could learn it. If you're really learning it, then you shouldn't. If you're learning it, something that you're really immersed in, you shouldn't do before davening. Something that's superficial, you could do. Says Mishna Berura, Psuka, she'ein ba iyon. There's no analysis. V'loi machloikes. Kedei shlo yitarid al yidei zeh batfila. So that's very interesting. Meaning, to learn before davening, it's only something that does not require analysis and has no machlokes. You could learn Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. If you did engage in in-depth learning, yispalel imahim, you could daven with them, especially now, that we don't have that much kavanah anyway. It's only l'chadchila, but if you did it already and the tzibur is davening, you could daven. It's only l'chadchila shlo yasuk v'pilpul kadem atfila. So let's say somebody has a Gemara Seder before davening. Is it okay if the last 10 minutes he learns Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, so at least he's not going directly from the in-depth learning to davening, or at any point before davening you should not learn something in depth? L'chayra, it's not a din of doing it before davening. L'chayra, the din is it's doing it right before davening, because the Mechaber says ein oimdim l'spalo mitoich. The lashon of the Mechaber is ein oimdim l'spalo mitoich. In other words, you want to learn something in depth, no problem, but don't learn something in depth up until tefillah. Another point is, and I'm not clear about this, is this only until Shemona Esrei, or is it until where you start davening? Again, the Mechaber seems to be going back and forth. Like we pointed out, Yisha sha'achas kadem sheyakum l'spalel. L'chayra is talking about before you start davening at all. If you remember in Siman Sadi, Sivchaf, it says Yikane Shir Shnei Psachim ve'achikach Yispala, and there are many interpretations. Either don't sit by the door, or don't daven as soon as you enter the shul. Now, what did that mean? L'char, that's talking about Shemona Esrei. In other words, I don't know, I think even Sif Aleph is talking about Shemona Esrei. And Yisha Sha'achas Kodim Sheyakum L'Spalel, what does that mean? Don't you have to be Soimech Gula L'Tfila? I'll ask you a question. What did Chasidim Arishonim do? They waited an hour before they started Baruch Shamar, or they waited an hour before they started Shemona Esrei?
Before Shemona Esrei.
So were they mafsik between Gula and Tefillah?
No.
So where did they wait this hour?
It's included in all the lead up to Shemona Esrei. It wasn't meditation. It wasn't hisbaininus beroimimus hakel. Okay. Weiter. Sif. So in other words, somebody wants to learn Gemara before daven, they could do it as long as the last 5-10 minutes they're doing something else. They're learning Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Otherwise, they have to stop and do something else before Shachris. Siv Dalet. Ha'isik b'tzarchet tzibur ka'isik b'tar dami. If you're involved in tzarchet tzibur, it's like learning Torah. Purest l'inyan lamoid mitach l'spalel. that is to get up to daven from being oisek in tzarchei tzibur. Shegam zu simcha hilai, because this is also a simcha for him. She'oisek b'tzarchei tzibur. V'yesh mefarshim dahainu le'inyan de'eno tzarch livsoik lehispalal. Some say what it means is oisek b'tzarchei tzibur has the equivalency of limudat Torah, namely you don't have to interrupt being oisek b'tzarchei tzibur in order to daven. It says in Mishna Inyan Lamed, as long as you're being oisek b'tzarchei tzibur in a way that's analogous to definitive halacha. That is, it's not something that preoccupies you. Nevertheless, if again you were involved in tzarchei tzibur and it is preoccupying, don't miss out on the minyan because of this. And certainly, if you're afraid the zman tefillah will pass. Some say that when we say oisek b'tzarchei tzibur is like oisek b'tar, that is regarding you don't have to interrupt. You don't have to interrupt to daven. If you're being oisek b'tzarchei tzibur and the zman tefillah is passing, you do not have to daven. If you're the only one who could be involved in this particular endeavor. You don't even have to make it up. Why? Since at the time of your chiyuv you were exempt, you don't have to make it up. So if a guy was involved in tzarchei tzibur, and even if it means missing the zman tefillah, he would not daven and he does not make it up because he is pater. He is pater from the tefillah. So, the reason is, we learned in Siman Ayin Sivkat Tezayin, it's like you're being oisek in a mitzvah, even if you're just trying to save Jews money. Even if you get paid. Even if you're in the middle of resting in order to continue the tzarchei tzibur, you also don't daven. And you don't make it up. Now, if your tzarchei tzibur lasted until after chatzos, you can't eat until you daven mincha and put on tefillin. Okay, Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful Shabbos Hashem next week. We will begin with Siman Sadi Daled, one of my favorite halachos. Kol tov, everyone. Have a good Shabbos.
You say that
Recording stopped.
halacha, you said halacha